Okay, I think we have pretty much everyone here. Okay, so let's, who does not have the sheet we gave out last time? Last time we gave out a sheet. Everyone has the sheet from last time? Who doesn't have this sheet? Who doesn't have it? Do you have it?
I have it, it's just not here.
Yeah. Who does not have it here? Okay, put line it, number it. So if you like lines, you should have 10 lines total. Who does not have it yet? Who doesn't have it? Everyone has this? Does everyone have the sheet from last time?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone has it? Okay. Okay, who don't we have here? That's Rivka Shira, Prinsloo,
Yes,
Rivka Bendetska.
she's downstairs.
Okay,
You don't have my name on it, please.
what's your name?
Simcha Chayevsky.
Simcha?
Yeah, Simcha Cohen.
Simcha Cohen? Okay. Okay, now finally I have, okay, we're gonna do again so I could remember the names. Rivka Bendetska,
She's downstairs.
Malcolm Butler, Michal Fernandez,
Yeah.
Maya Hernandez,
She's there.
Rotem Lak, Devara Namdar, Shana Partosh,
She's not here, she's
Rivka Shira Prinsloo,
here.
where?
Right.
Rachel Prinsloo?
Yeah.
Sofa Gula Yofa? Yofa?
Yeah.
Yofa? Sarah Besness? Devara Kapelovich? Sharonel?
Here.
How's it pronounced? Sharonel?
Sharonel.
Sharonel Sasson? Racha Simcha?
Here.
It's you?
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone I did not call this time? Did I get everyone? I didn't get you. What's your name? Your name? No, your name. Oh, you're Michal? Okay. Everyone has a sheet? So you put numbers, you should have 10 lines over here. You have 10 lines? Yeah? Okay. So let's look at it again. So basically, the Malacha of Vayder, the Malacha of Vayder is what? You're not allowed to separate two things that are mixed together. As you see in line 1 and 2. If it's two different items mixed together, you're not allowed to separate it. I'm going to go into details. Now, the way we're doing it is that if you look at line 4, what does it say on line 4? Vayder is not always privileged. So there's two ways how people discuss it. Sometimes people will say, okay, this is Vayder. They say, this is Vayder. What does it mean when they say this is Vayder? They mean you're not allowed to do it, it's Vayder. The way I want to do it is, we want to understand what's going on, what's happening over here. There's a lot of situations where you're actually doing Vayder, but Vayder only in the sense that you are separating. It's called separating, but it's not a malach, but it's not prohibited. As it says in line 4, Vayder is not always prohibited. So just because we say it's Vayder, so in the language of many people, when they talk and they say, you're not allowed to do it, it's Vayder, fine. You can use any language you want as long as you understand what you're saying. But that's what generally people say. It's Vayder. You're not allowed to do it, it's Vayder. The way I'm teaching it here is, we're going to take everything apart. I'm showing you that there are situations where you are doing Vayder, you are separating, but it's still permitted. And it's important to understand when you're actually separating, and when you're not separating. Because if you're actually separating, but it's permitted, then you have to know all the conditions. If you're not separating at all, there's no separation happening, so you don't need to have conditions, it's not separating. So, and to summarize what I just said now, there are situations where you are technically separating. You are separating, and that you see in the first two lines. Line 1 and 2, what does it say over there? The definition of Beirid. So when I'm saying over here, the definition of Beirid, I'm not referring to the prohibition of Beirid. Doesn't mean it's prohibited. This is what Beirid means. Beirid means, does everyone have this? Everyone just walk in that does not have this sheet? So if you don't have it, please take one and put numbers. Should have 10 lines. Everyone have it? Just line number it. When I'm saying over here the definition of Beirid, I'm not saying it's prohibited. I'm saying this is what Beirid means. This is Beirid. The definition of Beirid, yeah, but the first two lines. You're separating, it's two different items. They're mixed together. That's Beirid. Does that mean it's prohibited on Shabbos? Not necessarily. Then you look at line 4. What does it say on line 4? You have all the numbers, so you can find it right away. I say 4, 5, 6, so I just right away what I'm talking about. Yeah? Put numbers 1, 2, 3. Okay. What does it say in line 4? Beirid is not always prohibited. So even if it's Beirid, it's not always prohibited. And it's going to be permitted, as you see in line 5, 6, 7, 8. Just focusing on those lines. So, yeah, let's use an example. Okay, before we get to example, I think it will be helpful just to go over this again. Just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beirid is not always prohibited. So even when you're separating, it doesn't mean it's prohibited. For example, 5, you're taking good from bad. Then you have two conditions, 6, 7, 8. 1, you're doing it close to the time of eating, and 2, you're doing it with your hand. You're not using a specialized utensil. So you need these conditions. But that's if you are actually you're actually separating. There are situations where you're not actually separating. It's not separating. I'll give you just an example. I'm going to speak about it later, but I'm going to mention it now. So we're going to start giving an example. Example, if you have, let's say, a matzo ball in soup. So you don't like the matzo ball. You don't like it. It doesn't look good. You're taking it out. You don't want it. Is that separating? It's not called separating because it's not a mixture. Because it's a big item inside liquid, it's solid. The solid item sitting inside liquid, so it's not called separating. It's not a mixture. So there's no conditions attached. So we're not going to say, oh, you're only allowed to do it if you want to eat it. It doesn't matter. There's no conditions. Because it's not considered a mixture. Whereas if you have lakshin in soup, or you have rice in soup, and you want to separate the rice from the soup, then that is Beirid. You are separating. Then you have to have these conditions. Okay, so we're going to go to examples now. We'll start first with examples that we didn't discuss in the last class. Let's take fish with bones. So fish with bones, so you know how to take the bones out of the fish. You take the fish from the bones. Is that considered separating? Yeah, because it's stuck together. By the way, in by 2, look at the sheet. I want you to add something else. After stuck together, right, or close together. Stuck together or close, because if you have a serving tray with a lot of different types of chicken, roasted, fried, whatever, close to each other, it's also considered a mixture because they're close together. So, fish with bones. So if you want to eat the fish, you take the fish off the bones. When you're allowed to do it, if it's close to the time of eating, means right before the meal, you could separate it. Okay, so that's simple. Let's get into other examples. You have, for example, grapes, and some of the grapes are spoiled, or it's just really not good. It's really poor quality. Doesn't mean necessarily it's spoiled, but you have sometimes a cluster of grapes, and some of the grapes are they just don't look good. You don't eat it. So you want to take off the grapes that you don't like?
No, we take the good ones you like.
Take what you like. Cantaloupe. How do you cut up a cantaloupe on Shabbos? What do you mean how do you cut it up? Cut it up and open it up. Is cantaloupe considered greater, separating?
If you take off the pits, you say?
How do you separate a cantaloupe on Shabbos? Is that greater?
No.
If you cut it open, then you take out the pits. There's a whole cluster of pits over there. You scoop it out. Is that greater?
No, it's the way of eating.
So first we determine, is this greater? Is this called separating?
No.
Like we said over here. First we determine, is this separating? If it's separating, then we need to have conditions to be allowed to do it. If it's not called separating, then you just do it. It doesn't matter what, when, where, why, right? So first we have to determine, is this called separating?
Well, I guess so.
What's the definition of greater?
It's
Is
stuck
separating
together.
two items that are mixed or stuck together.
So yes, so then it's yes, it's.
Is peeling an orange called greater separating? Yes. So opening up a cantaloupe and scooping out the pits from inside, is that separating? Yeah, you are separating. Are you allowed to do it?
Okay.
Okay, so that's when we have 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now go to 5. Top of 4. 5, you take good from bad. Oh, but now you have to remember, also look. 9. What does 9 say?
So that's.
Look at 9 and 10. What is 9 and 10 telling you?
That we can do it in certain conditions.
That there are situations when you could take the bad from the good. For example, peeling an orange, thin bones from fish. And you can put in a cantaloupe. You can put in eggs, peeling eggs. In some of the books you'll see when they write the conditions for separating, they put 3 conditions. So I put 2 conditions. What's the third condition they add? They add take good for bad. That's officially one of the conditions. I didn't put it in because then it gets confusing, because that's not really a condition. Practically, there are a lot of situations that you could take the bad for good. So just that if you see in a book, there's 3 conditions, there's 2 conditions, don't get confused because they're putting good for bad. Most are writing good for bad, but there's an exception. There's a lot of exceptions where you could take bad for good, like peeling the cantaloupe. Okay, so practically, cantaloupe is separated? Yes. How many conditions do you need to be allowed to do it? How many conditions do you need? 2. 2 conditions. So you look at 7 and 8. Before eating. Before eating doesn't mean the second before you eat. You need time to prepare for the meal. Before the meal, you gotta prepare the food, cut everything up. It has to be by hand. But it could include a knife, a fork, a spoon. You could use a utensil that's not assisting you in separating. You can't use a utensil that's helping you to separate. Like, for example, if you have a pot of food, and you want to, there's a pot here. Now, there's liquid and there's soup and rice, and you're pouring it out, and you want the rice to stay inside. So you're gonna take the lid and put the lid like this to hold the liquid from coming out. Then you can't do it. You're using a keli to help you to separate. But when you're using a knife to scoop out the pits of the cantaloupe, using the knife because you don't want to get your hands dirty. That's what it's doing. Not doing it because it's helping you. The knife is doing it better necessarily. No, it's primarily you shouldn't get dirty. So that's why any utensil that you're using, you shouldn't get your hands dirty, generally is not in the category of a utensil. In other words, there's a general halacha that when you separate, you can't use a utensil. Okay, so that's a general halacha. You can't use a utensil. But if your intention is that you shouldn't get your hands dirty. It's not being used to help to separate the bad from the good. Then it's okay, but then it's not in the category of a utensil. That's like an extension of your hand. You scoop out shallots. You scoop out soup. You don't get your hands dirty. You want to burn yourself, right?
So
So,
practically, if you forgot to open your can of corn or of tuna before Shabbos, how do you take out the tuna or the corn?
how do you open a can of tuna?
If you forgot to open it before Shabbos.
No, opening a can of tuna
No, but
is a
then how
different
do you take
discussion.
out the tuna without the oil or the corn without the water?
You're not asking about opening the can,
No,
that's a different
no.
discussion.
No.
You have an open can of tuna, the tuna's in there with the liquid. How do you take the tuna out of the?
Yeah, can you do it with a fork?
Yes, because you're doing it, the reason why you're using the fork is because you don't want to get dirty. You don't need any special keli to help separate the tuna from the oil. You just take it out because you don't want to get yourself dirty. So you have to keep the conditions. It has to be before the time of eating. So it can't be before you go to shul and then you come back from shul, it's going to be ready because you did it before you went to shul. You can't do that. Let's talk about cutlery. Cutlery, you cannot separate cutlery on Shabbos. Unless we discussed it last time, I think, right? So now, we're going to discuss another detail over here. And that is that if you wash cutlery by the sink, you can't start when you wash the cutlery, you can't start separating. You take this, and I'm going to wash a fork now. I'm going to wash a knife now. Oh, I need the forks. I need to wash some forks now. Friday night, there's a lot of cutlery in the sink. Tomorrow, we need a lot of spoons for the challenge or forks. Okay, so let me start washing the forks. So they're all mixed together, sitting in the sink, and you're taking what you want, what you need for tomorrow. What are the conditions? 7, before eating. Let's be close to the time of eating. You're taking the fork to wash, because you're washing until tomorrow. You can't do that. So if you're washing cutlery, whatever comes to the end, you wash. Now, once it's in your hand, okay, so that's one point. The other point is, people like to separate the cutlery. You can't start separating cutlery. But once it's in your hand already, because you just picked up this spoon and you washed it, now you can put it wherever you want. Because you didn't pick it up to separate, once it's in your hand, put it wherever you want. Then we spoke about, we added, in line 2, it says mixed or stuck. The definition of blend is it's mixed or stuck together. You have a fruit that's dirty. Fruit fell out of the refrigerator and got all dirty. And you want to rinse it because it's dirty. You want to put it back to the refrigerator, right? Why do you want to rinse it? Because it's dirty. You're going to eat it now. Eating it now, but it's dirty. If there's something stuck to the fruit and you're washing it off, you're separating bad from good. Are you eating now? No. Question. So the first condition comes all the time. It's the most practical condition over here. It's very common. You're rinsing it off because it's dirty, but you're not eating it now. You can't rinse it off. Eggs. Peeling eggs. That's a peeling an orange. So, okay. A practical way of peeling eggs is you peel it over the garbage, because when you peel eggs, there's another problem. Nothing to do with separating, but I'm going to mention it because it's practical. When you peel eggs, the eggshells are muktzah. So when you peel it and it's left on the table, you have muktzah. And that's a discussion for itself. You could, you can't. It's a lot of details involved. You want to avoid all these questions.
Why don't we just avoid eating
So-
hard-boiled eggs?
What?
Why don't we just avoid eating hard-boiled eggs though?
But you don't have to. I'm giving you simple advice. Take the eggs, go to the garbage, peel the eggs, and it falls right into the garbage can. That's it.
Is an orange peel also?
The garbage can does not usually become muktzah. Even if it does, you don't usually move the garbage can. Usually a garbage can is not muktzah because there's so much other most of the stuff in the garbage can is not muktzah. So you don't have to worry about that.
No, I was asking about the orange peel.
What?
Is that an orange peel?
Yes, because it's the same thing.
Like, once you peel off the orange peel.
You
it's
asked
also-
if an orange peel is muktzah? I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
No,
asked
you're
about the garbage can. An
No.
orange peel is not usually muktzah because orange peels could be used. They use it. It's eaten. It's used in different recipes. Orange peels.
No, but not in Shabbos.
What?
Not in Shabbos.
It doesn't matter. They could be used. Orange peels are not usually on muktzah. But muktzah is a different discussion. What I'm saying is with eggs, you want to peel it right into the garbage, and again, close to the time eating. So, yeah,
In Israel, we very often have a strainer in the sink where we put, all the garbage when we peel eggs and stuff like that, so that you say, I can't,
a strainer in the sink,
Like a
you peel
like it's like a.
you peel the eggs into the sink.
Yeah, but, and everything, and all the vegetables and everything, I put all the peels in that little strainer. And then I take that and I put that in the garbage, so that I shouldn't do
I don't know what it looks
often
like.
as myself.
I'm not sure what it is, so ask me after class, so you don't take up the time now, so I can calmly figure out what it looks like, what it is, how it is. Okay, a candy wrapper. You have candies wrapped up in wrappers. Now you want to take it out of the wrapper because you want to prepare it. Whatever the reason is. Is that separating?
Yeah.
Definition of blade is what? Mixed or stuck together. It's stuck together.
No,
That's
it's not
bladed.
together.
You are separating. Is that now, huh?
I guess it would probably depend on the candidate.
They're not usually stuck.
Depends on when you're gonna eat it, right? It is like a taffy and it's not.
It's not stuck, okay? If it's not, if it's not stuck, okay, fine. If it's not stuck together, then it's probably not, but I'll double check. There might be an opinion that's strict about it, but I have to double check about that. If it's not stuck together, it could be it's not a problem. What happens? Okay, we spoke about rice and soup. Let's go into a little more details. You have rice and soup mixed together. And if you separate the rice from the soup from the rice, is that separating? Yes, that's called, again, they'll say, is it called separating? Yes. Now that it's called separating, doesn't mean you're not allowed to do it. Well, you have to have the conditions. So how can you separate rice from soup? So now, there is a machlokes in Shulchan Aruch. When you are pouring, let's say you have soup and rice together, and you're pouring out the soup from the rice. Are you separating the soup from the rice?
Yes.
Okay, so before we get to this machlokes, there's something else. Is this called separating? Okay, we're backing up a little bit. Is this called separating?
Yeah.
When you're pouring soup out of the rice? I just said it is, right? But not always is it separating. Why? If I have soup and rice mixed together, and where's the rice, let's say? It's on the bottom. Let's say the rice is floating on the bottom. The first 3/4 of the pot, let's say, when you're pouring out soup, you're not separating. Because the rice is here, and I'm pouring soup from the top. There's no rice over here at the top. So if I'm pouring soup from a pot that has soup and rice together, and the top part where there's only soup, I'm not separating anything because the rice is not mixed together. So when is it considered separating? When I come to the part where, sometimes when the pieces start coming out, you're starting to juggle the pot that the pieces should come out and they shouldn't come out, right? So now, when it comes to the point where the rice is mixing together and you're starting to juggle the pot, the rice shouldn't come out, that's where now it's called bladed, it's called separating. Now you are separating rice from soup. Okay, so we just explained when it is blended. We didn't discuss yet that you're allowed or not allowed, because like we said, first we established that you are separating, that this is considered separating. Now, at this point, are you allowed to do it? So we always fall back to the rules over here. But there's another issue, there's a machlekes over here in what you are doing, which is like which is a separate issue other than what we discussed till now. Till now we're discussing, we know already what you're doing, and we're saying, are you allowed or you're not allowed? Now the machlekes is, what are you doing? What do you mean? Usually when you are separating, you know what you're doing. You're taking the good from the bad, I'm taking the bad from the good. And the discussion is it allowed or not allowed? Now the discussion is, what are you doing? Does anyone get where I'm heading to? Yeah? Does anyone have an idea where I'm going? What I'm getting to? But you have things mixed together, and I take out what I want. I take what I don't want. I took what I want. You know what you did. Here, when you're pouring out the soup, I only want the rice. Now let's say I only want the rice. Oh, I want the soup, doesn't matter, whichever way. So I'm separating the soup and the rice. What should I do? Do you get what I'm asking? No.
Well, you're not using a special utensil. in this
What?
situation.
What?
You're not using a special utensil.
Right, correct. But what am I doing?
You're doing what? If
Am
you're
I-
taking this, if you want the rice
Okay.
and you're pouring out the.
One second. Okay. I'm pouring out the soup, and I only want the rice,
So,
right? What am I
the
doing?
bad from the good.
I'm taking the bad from the good.
Yeah, if you're pouring the soup for the rice.
Maybe I'm taking the good.
That's if you want the soup.
I'm pouring out the soup because I want the rice. So I took out the bad from the good. Maybe I took the good from the bad.
No, that's if you want the soup.
You get what I'm saying? No. When I'm pouring out the soup and I'm left with the rice, so maybe it's called that the good from the bad, not the bad from the good. What did I do? I'm pouring out what I don't want, but what's left in my hand is what I want. So maybe what I really did was take the good from the bad. You get the two ways of looking at it? There's two ways over here. I want you to understand what's going on. So there's a machlekes. What are you doing? Not just what's the halacha. Before what the halacha is, we don't even know what you're doing. Some people don't know what they're doing, right? So, yeah. What are you doing over here? You get it? So this is a machlekes. Now the Rebbe later first had one view, and later on in the Siddur, later in his life, he went into halachas much deeper and went, get older, get smarter, and he thought into it, and he changed out. He established something different. And Alter Rebbe said later, in the beginning, the Alter Rebbe said, when you're pouring out this, just to use an example, you pour out the soup, you're separating the soup from the rice. Later on, the Alter Rebbe said, no, what's left in your hand is what you're taking. So when you're pouring soup out of rice, what you're doing is you're taking the rice. That's what you're doing. We're only discussing now what you're doing, not discussing halacha now. Right? So now we establish if you're pouring out all the soup and you're left with the rice, what did you do? What you did was, says the Alter Rebbe, you took the rice. That's what you did. Okay, now we know what you did. Now that we know that you took the rice, now we can explain the halacha. Now, what do you want? You want the rice? Good. So you took the rice. Because you took what you want. If you don't want the rice, so you took what you don't want, then you can't do this. Understood? Now, we come to an example. Another point over here. We need conditions over here. Whenever we separate, we need two conditions, right? So 1 second. I want the rice. I'm pouring out the soup. I want the rice. I'm left with the rice in my hand. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Huh?
No,
Everybody. You understand what I'm saying? I'm pouring out the soup, I'm left with the rice in the hand, and I want the rice. Is that okay? Can I do that?
Looks to me that you can, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, you put the soup, that's what you wanted.
Oh, listen, everyone understands, everyone gets it?
Yes.
But whenever you need to separate, we always have to look back to conditions. If you use this guide, everything will be very clear. So now we're saying that you're allowed to do it because you take what you want. Now, what are the conditions that you need? What conditions do you need to be allowed to separate? Before you eat hand?
By hand.
By hand. I'm doing it by hand? I'm using a vessel. I'm using a vessel.
Using the pot.
Is this called using a vessel?
No,
No,
because it's
no.
your hand.
Because your hand is doing it. That's what I want to bring out. As you see many times, even though it's a vessel, I'm not using the vessel, it's my hand that's doing it. The food is in the vessel, but it's my hand that's separating. I'm not separating with the utensil. The food is in the utensil, but I'm not separating with the utensil. Now, let's apply it to something practical. Many people hope it won't be practical. It's not the most exciting example, but a fly falls into your soup, okay? The fly falls into your soup on Shabbos, and what do you do with the fly? So many people these days won't even forget about the whole soup is going to go into the garbage, and that's it. So that's your choice. If that, it's fine. If you're so disgusted with it, but we're discussing the halacha. Halachically, let's say someone will eat the soup, and just take out the fly, and he'll still eat the soup. Or maybe it's something that's not a fly. Maybe it's like some type of piece that's fell in. Whatever the case is, it's something that could be a piece of something, sometimes some wine from the bottle, whatever, a little piece fall in, and maybe you will drink the rest. Let's say, okay? Question is, how do you take it out? Could you go? So first we have to establish. Step one is this separating? Is this called braided?
Yes, it is.
It's braided. It is braided. We said before that we have matzo balls in soup. That's not called separating, because the definition of braided is we have a mixture. Because it's solid and liquid, it's not viewed as a mixture. So it's not separating. But little pieces, or even this one little piece, is considered separating. Now, who could tell me, think for a moment, tell me, okay, how do we take it out? What? Again? Did everyone hear that? So we just had an answer that you pour out the soup until the fly comes out. Very good. Now let's start from the beginning, like you're mentioning. When Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe says, because Alter Rebbe again, first Alter Rebbe passed in one way, and then he changed. We go according to what he said later. The Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe said, what you were going to say, that is, take a spoon and take out the fly.
With liquid.
How can you do that? How can the Alter Rebbe say that you take out the fly with a spoon?
With liquid.
Very good. You notice, because you take it with liquid. So you're not separating the fly from the soup, you're taking out soup from soup. So Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch you can do it. Many opinions, most opinions say that it's okay. I want you to understand, even though we go according to Alter Rebbe, but you should know, go to other communities, you know why they're doing it. So many opinions say you could do that. Why is it okay? Because you're now going to separate the fly from the soup, but I'm separating the soup from the soup. I'm taking soup with it. Get it? Now, to them, that is strict. That's it's a separate thing from what we said before. The Alter Rebbe is strict. The Alter Rebbe says, don't do it this way. Why? Can anyone think, why does the Alter Rebbe being strict and saying, better not to do it this way? Don't take it with a spoon. Why not? Anyone can think
Really
of
what
an
you're
idea?
doing is taking the fly out.
You know everything already. I want to give that one. But, okay. Because I don't think for a moment, tell me, why does the Alter Rebbe being strict and saying that you should be strict? You shouldn't do it. Anyone?
Because you don't want the secrets in school.
Very good, okay? Because your intention is really to get the fly. And the soup that's coming with it is going to the garbage. So Alter Rebbe says, Alter Rebbe doesn't say if someone does it, he's desecrating Shabbos for sure. Alter Rebbe is saying, don't do it. He's not comfortable with it. It says it's no good. Don't avoid it. So what does the Alter Rebbe say do? What you just mentioned. Take the keli, pour it out until the fly comes out. Doesn't it, you mentioned that it comes out with soup. I don't know if you meant that it has to be specifically coming out with soup. Doesn't matter when it comes out. And these that you're getting that point right. Now, what you could do is, what you're allowed to do is, you're allowed to blow it until it gets before the edge. In other words, let's start with something else. Am I allowed to on Shabbos go to the cup of wine, it has the fly, and blow the fly off? Am I allowed to do this?
Not really,
No. Why not?
because of something to do with the animals. Trapping, I don't know,
Not trapping.
not trapping, no.
No, anyone? No, something else. Why? Anyone could think of something. Why can't they go and blow the fly off the soup? Anyone? No? Because I'm separating. It's not separating in a regular way, and with your mouth, but you're still doing the malach of separating. Am I allowed to flick the slice switch with my elbow? You still can't do it. I'm separating bad from good. Got it? I'm blowing off, I'm taking the bad from the good. I can't do that. What I could do is, I could blow it till it gets close to the edge. So I don't have to be pouring half of the cup out of the use so much wine. But blow it till the edge, not off. And then when it's close, I could spill it out. What condition do I need? So is this a green light? Okay, if a fly falls into my soup, Shabbos or my wine, whatever, just pour it out, that's it. I'm allowed to do it?
Yeah.
Any conditions? There's always the conditions. Now how to, no? So we have to look back. When are you allowed to do? What are the conditions? There's always one condition that comes up all the time. The other one is, is rarely discussed because it's automatic. It's usually there already, right? So which the condition that's the primary condition that comes to mind right away is what? Right before you eat, which means if I'm not planning to drink this now, I'm planning to drink it in 3 hours, or I'm not planning to drink it at all, let's say, because I don't want to drink it because there's a fly in there. So now, but I don't like to look at the fly, so I'm going to pour it out. Why are you separating? You're not going to eat it. Or you're just going to store it away, going to put it, it's in a bottle, and you're putting it back in the refrigerator, so you want to get it out and put it back in the fridge. You can't do it. So this is bladed. It's allowed if you have this condition. Yeah.
How about if the fly fell like on the main pot and then some people find it like gross that you're blowing on the pot?
I'm not sure what your question is. Your question is if you
Like,
find the
if you
whole
have
pot gross.
No.
And they're going to eat now from the pot. So you're going to be serving from the pot.
Yeah, if the fly is there and you want what to do this thing that you blow.
You're going to be serving soup to everyone.
Yeah.
So it's close to the time of eating. So you could pour it out. You could blow it close to the edge. Don't blow it off completely. And then pour it out. Because you're going to be serving soup now.
But if people find it disgusting, you throw everything away, we don't have to.
Like if
You want to throw it, that's the only thing. If you want to throw it away, we're discussing now if you want to separate it. You don't want to separate, you want to throw it all out, throw it all out. It's up to you. Let's say you do want to separate. What?
People find it like gross that you like.
Oh, in fact,
People find it gross that you're blowing on it?
Yeah.
Who said you have to blow on it? I'm giving you an option. I'm not saying you should blow, I'm discussing the halacha, okay, very good, it's discussing practical interest. I'm saying, I'm trying to explain the halacha. We want you to understand the halacha, that you can't blow it off, you can blow it till right before the edge. And then you spill it out, so it saves you from spilling out half of the pot, because till the fly, so it's gross to blow. I'm not saying you should blow on it. I'm saying what the halacha. A lot of halachas that not necessarily so practical. You have to know what you can do.
So if we're not speaking about something disgusting like a fly, but let's say not everybody makes tea essence. Like a tea bag.
TSS, right?
Tea bag. Tea bag, you put the tea bag in your cup and you wanna have your tea.
Yeah.
So one of the options is to leave the tea bag in there, that's what I do. But there are some people who wanna take the tea bag out and they take it with a spoon and a bit of liquid, so that we don't do.
Okay, so a tea bag. Good, we'll discuss that. A tea bag. You want to take a tea bag out of the cup. Is that called separating?
Yes, absolutely.
Halachically, it's not separating because it's a big item. It's people are machmir, it's a stringency. Why? Because what is the issue? You know what the issue of the tea bag is? What is the problem with the tea bag?
Pressing also with a spoon.
What is the problem? You're not squeezing, you're pulling it out.
Most people won't do that out, they squeeze it.
Right.
With a spoon.
Oh, that you can't do.
Right.
You can't, yeah, but in terms of separating, what's the issue of taking out a tea bag? You're not really separating.
Because it's solid in liquid, that's what.
Because what do you separate? Tea bag from the liquid?
Not really mixed together.
Tea bag is a big item, it's not considered a mixture.
Okay, so we can do that?
So the issue, the problem of the tea bag is not separating the tea bag from the liquid. The problem is, according to some opinions who want to be strict, they say when you look at the tea bag, what happens? It starts dripping out.
Yeah.
So there's liquid straining out.
Ah.
So it's more of a chumrah. They don't want to. So if you take it out quickly, it's really not a problem. If you take it out, then you're like, that's not allowed because you're letting it drip. Now you want it to strain. So some amachmir, many of them they take a spoon, so they avoid the whole issue. So it's just a simple way. You have it. People have spoons. Take a spoon, you pull it out, and you avoid any problem that happens. You pull it out and you forget, you start letting it drip out. So, or if it just drips up by itself, and maybe it's considered straining because you want it to come out. It's more of like a protection to make sure that you don't get into any questions over here. So that's the idea of using a spoon, but not because it's actually halachically required. Because if you do it really quick, like that, you can't say it's privileged. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. If you do it, I think it's a good thing to do, but it's not like halacha that if you don't do it, you're desecrating Shabbos. But it's a good thing to do, yes. Any questions?
It's the same thing like what we said before about the can of corn. If you turn it over and with your hands you let it strain the water, that's also straining. That's why we don't do it, and it's better to do it with a fork. But that's also straining.
So you take it with a fork.
But that's also straining, eh?
The can of corn is the same like the pot of soup, rice and soup, same thing. It's the same idea.
You're also straining the water when you're taking the corn out. You're also straining the water when you're taking the corn out with the fork. Well, better is to do it before Shabbos.
Okay, we can discuss if you want. Hey, Shabbos, everyone. Let's discuss.